ready to go with the flow. I appreciate your support so much. And feel free to talk to me via chat. I want you guys to be engaged in the conversation. I want to hear your thoughts as you are hearing mine. And let's go ahead and get started with the show. Hello, y'all. As you know, I am Miss Flo, and this is Go With the Flow, a podcast where I share my experience and opinion as an educator, photographer, filmmaker, and just continue to just add things to my resume. This episode and a couple future episodes will be a review of 2022. It's been quite a year, and we're going to take some time to really process everything that has happened. Today's episode will focus on what I believe are the top news stories this year, as well as top music news. All right, with me, I have my special guest, former student and current intern, Ziggy. Ziggy, say hi to the public.
Hello, everyone.
I appreciate you guys for your support and coming on to this live. This is my second-ish time on Twitch. And if you missed the Twitch live stream, don't worry, because I will be editing this. So we will also see me on YouTube in the future, as well as still have my audio podcast. I do appreciate if you guys will share the live, share it as much as possible on your social media. I really do appreciate the support. And make sure that you follow so you can get those alerts whenever I pop in. Now, as the year slowly comes to a close, it's important that we take the time to reflect everything that happened, because it was definitely a lot. Ziggy, how did you feel about this year?
Well, I definitely felt as though there was some major shocking events, like from deaths of, beloved figures and famous people to tragic accidents and mass shootings. But there were also some light events that happened this year. We have a lot of good music coming out, a lot of good, TV shows and movies being produced. So I'd say, like whatever year there's good and bad. So I just think it's nice to reflect what the events that happened and how they made you feel, and, you know, reflect upon your year. I feel like that's important to do.
Exactly. Now, we're going to start off with what I think has to be. I don't really know how to categorize this. Like, there's so many people had mixed reactions to this huge buy, this huge purchase. And if you've been paying attention to the news, you know what I'm referring to. Elon Musk buying Twitter. And what I have here, like, will he destroy Twitter? We don't know. But so many people had adverse reactions to this major buy. $44 billion for this social media app. And Elon has just been, well, there's a lot to question. Mostly people are concerned about the firing. He has let go 5,000 people from Twitter. It might be even more. He doesn't want people to work from home. You even have to buy the blue check. The one thing that verifies who you are and make sure that you say who you are. It comes at a price. Some people say this is a great business decision because he's looking to make sure he returns on his investment. Others felt like this is the beginning of the end of Twitter and could end up in a major collapse. Ziggy, how did you feel about this news, and how did you react to this?
I was a bit shocked, but then I just felt like Twitter was gonna go to all hell. What I mean by that is that you have someone like a billionaire like Elon Musk. Like Elon Musk has done some questionable things in his life. So most of the fence, like you ask anybody what they think about Elon Musk, I don't think like it's gonna be good things or like anything like that. So when I first heard he bought, yeah, I thought it was gonna go to all hell, and I thought that the conservative. I don't want to push a narrative, but like I know how people like, cause he said when he bought Twitter, he was trying to save humanity. Like, what do you mean by that? And who are you to say you're saving humanity when you're like people don't really go to or look to Elon Musk for like moral high ground. You know what I'm saying?
No, like I totally agree. Like I'm very convicted. I don't know how to feel about Elon because I can't tell if he's, a genius with good intentions or is he our real life supervillain? Because, he goes off to space when he wants, but he's also created the Tesla, which, is helping the environment. Like, I don't really know what to make of Elon, but I personally feel with the purchase of Twitter, like I think a lot of people were questioning his intentions with the app. Um,
Especially like around this time, like he purchased it around. I don't want to get into Kanye, but he purchased Twitter around the time like Kanye was sending those tweets. I just feel like something's like I feel like somehow that's connected in this. Did Kanye get banned off of Twitter?
he did, he did after his like
Really?
recent post. Um, and this is very weird because like he wants to allow free speech, but we've been seeing, but he has to understand like, and what most people have to understand is that free speech doesn't mean you have the freedom to bash, harass, or create hate speech because we know the power of words and how they can encourage and incite riots, encourage just violence, period.
Yeah.
So it's a major platform with like millions, if not billions, of users. So it's a very, social media has become such a powerful tool that you can't just leave it in anybody's hands. And I think Elon is starting to realize, like, okay, he had the intention for people to have like free speech, but he sees like, okay, maybe not everybody deserves that right. You know what I mean? If that makes sense.
Yeah, because there is a difference between free speech and hate speech, and I wanna know your intentions behind it. Like, what do you feel like Twitter wasn't already doing? Like, what group do you feel the need to like silence on Twitter? Like, he never specified that. Oh, you can go.
No, I was gonna say like I know his original intention is like he wanted to see like how many bots. I think he felt like there was too many people that were fake users or like the spam. So I know that his intention was like to really, try to eliminate that. But like I said, I know a lot of people wanted to quit Twitter after he bought it. Specifically, our boss. Um, she wanted to like to delete our program's account, but I just told her like just hold off. Like I don't right now. I don't see a significant danger. It was like trending on Twitter, like like it's a doomsday clock. Like Twitter is coming to an end, da da da. And I was just like, I think one people might be overreacting a little bit. And I think we need to give it a little bit more time to really see how this will affect the platform. So far, I haven't seen anything or enough. I haven't seen enough evidence to say like, oh, Twitter's over. You know. So let's just kind of keep an eye on for now and just calm down. But another thing that was really trending in the news and
I think it has more to do with his character,
uh,
what he like says and does. Like, and was like anti-vax, and he says like you should see like he has past tweets that are problematic himself. So for him to say he's checking like the free speech or trying to save humanity on Twitter, I just feel like What I said earlier, I just, it's in the back of my mind. I just feel like there's like something other like behind it besides boss thing, but that's just my opinion.
I mean, yeah, I mean, he has enough money. Do you think that he like just bought the platform so that he can say whatever he wants?
Yeah, people who agree, like people that have like opinions that he agrees with, like so they could say whatever they want as well. That's what I think.
So it's just, I mean, when you have money like that, you can buy. That just shows that's the ultimate white privilege right there. It's
And
just you can
it
just
just
buy
shows
your free speech pass.
you can just buy it. It's a
$1 billion
price.
worth. It's insane. All right. Some really good news, kind of, sort of. Student loans. You can be debt free. You can finally have your degree and not have this crippling debt for some people. Um, this was a long debate, but President Joe Biden made it happen. But there are some heavy stipulations here. How did you feel when you heard that your student debt could disappear?
Oh, I was a little skeptical at first because I didn't think that it was gonna like fully disappear. Like they weren't gonna. I don't. Is it? Are they getting rid of it like fully? Are they paying it off?
So, I mean, that is a very good question. I try to like do some research on it because I too was very skeptical of this. I thought they were going to do like partial or at least cut it down some so that give some people a break. I mean, it's billions of dollars going into this, but they are heavy, heavy restrictions. Like, you have to be in the public service careers, like a nonprofit or government organization. And you have to be working there for at least 10 years to qualify for this program. This is the Public Service Loan Forgiveness. Um, and even there have been reports that there's a lot of like weird restrictions, and it's very hard to fill out the application. So it's kind of like, oh, we're giving you, the money to do this and like to be debt free, but it's like so many hurdles. I'm just like, how hard is it to just have the government bail out? Like, if the government can bail out like major businesses, like programs that are so called too big to fail, like why can't we do this for hardworking Americans that saw opportunities with a college degree but are just buried in all of this debt, and is really preventing them from buying houses, cars, building equity and credit, things that you need to thrive in America. So I thought, for me, when I first heard it, was like, oh, my students can have a break, but it looks like kind of not.
Mm-hmm.
So I mean,
That's it. And not like I said, but I think there's always a catch to something. So when I first heard it, I was excited, yes, but I was also a bit skeptical because I'm like, there's no way they're gonna just give away like get just forgive our debt like scot free, like no free of charge. Especially the people that have already been like when you've already been paying your stuff off. Does it really? I feel like it does make a difference because that's more money you're spending anyway. That's more money out of your pockets when you could be doing like stuff like like you said, like rent, like buying houses and using your money to thrive in your everyday life, like stuff you need to thrive in life. But I wasn't surprised. I just knew there was gonna be a catch. I just didn't think it would be this like severe.
yeah. Um, I just hope and pray that they sort this out. to me, it almost looks a bit performative because I know a lot of people were pressuring the administration to not just keep pushing the deadline for loans or like what was it called? They didn't like fully cancel it, but just like I can't even think what it's called because I'm fortunate enough that I don't have that debt, and I think as of right now, I would say for the class of like 2023 as you're like entering college is just don't expect for your debt to be just wiped away because there's too many obstacles to apply and some very strict stipulations. So please apply for your scholarships. Please just find ways to where you can get your education but not bury yourself in debt. It's okay to commute. It's okay to do it online and just pay for classes because this loan cancellation program doesn't look steady to me, and it doesn't look like it's plausible to be out of like I haven't heard like someone say like yes this immediately has worked. I've just only seen reports where people are saying like it's just hard to even get it. So hopefully they work out the kinks. It was a similar issue with Obamacare. There were a lot of hiccups when it first rolled out. So hopefully going into 2023 they can smooth all the wrinkles.
Yeah, hopefully.
Yeah, fingers crossed. Alright. The next story. This one was such a I was so confused as to why this happened. Not confused, I know why it would happen. This is why that we have to pay attention to who we put in office. And I've seen stories on this in terms of Roe v. Wade. This photo says it all. Like, look at the division. One side pro-life that was ecstatic for the overturn. And then the other half where it's just sorrow. And just felt... I'm just like, why am I still living through history? Why?
He repeats itself. That's how it goes.
But this is like I honestly didn't think like they would be able to overturn it.
I definitely was surprised too.
It doesn't. I mean, I saw one report, and I think it was on like John Oliver's show, and how the conservatives have been plotting for this for decades, like ever since this case and ruled like a federal protection for women's rights in their bodies. They have been plotting to overturn it, and part of it is putting someone at the helm like Trump so that he can fill the seats in the Supreme Court that's mostly conservative, and they could flip this. Like, maybe this is me like having a lack of understanding of the Supreme Court. I thought once like a case was closed and there was a verdict, you couldn't
reopen it and overturn that case.
That's what I thought. I learned something new in the worst possible way. Like, it was very surreal, and then, but it did make us as a country kind of focus more on the midterm elections, because I feel like a lot of people skip over it and just wait to vote for the presidential. But I heard like there was like such a major turnout, like people were really like fighting for their rights. And again, it's like you gotta vote, kids, because that's the only way that any significant change can be done. Because after the federal protection was lost, like several states immediately enacted the abortion ban, and all I can say is that I'm tired of the government just having a lack of fundamental understandings of women's bodies. And even I continue to see testimonials about like how important abortion is.
Yeah, and I would like to just say from like a person, with can reproduce that doesn't identify as a woman, like this is like I'm not trying to deter women at all. I love women. This is like women are at the forefront. But this is like more a person problem, like because you have trans men out here who still have their reproductive organs who might need an abortion because they don't want to have a baby, and they would be totally unsafe for them to have a baby in today's society because they present a certain way and they are cis passing or whatever, and they're not necessarily comfortable with being pregnant in society. Or you just have someone who got this. These are. I'm just trying to open it up so we could just open the discussion more because I hear a lot about like women's rights and stuff like that. I just feel like we should. It's more about reproductive rights at the end of the day. You kind of get what I'm saying?
Oh yeah, and I just want to dispel some myths because the amount of misinformation that puts out there, that not put out there, but like this just generally goes around, is like they constantly put the responsibility on women when it takes two to tango.
Exactly.
And like it just people just assume like people are just having abortions back to back to back, and like that's not the case. People saying like, oh, you could just give the baby up for adoption, when the foster care system is, I don't even know if you could call it a system. It's just like so many problems in there. I'm just like, you're subjecting a living being to that, and they're not even factoring in incidents of rape, incest. It's just like, no, there's some people that are like, no matter what's the case, it's like you gotta have the kid, and no matter how young they are. Like that's just heartbreaking to really hear. So I just hope that whatever state that you are in, that you have a leader that understands not only your body but your right as a woman or anybody that has women's reproductive organs. I just pray that you will be safe and that you have somebody in power that's in your corner. And you continue to try to have this. We're going to continue to fight. I know that it was a devastating loss, but people will continue on. Yeah. Alright, so I'm going to go ahead and move on to the next topic. I know this has been a bit somber, but here's some good news. Hopefully Trump will end up in jail. And I pray it's by our own law that he created. Trump was raided by the FBI, and this is so dumb. Like, this is beyond dumb, and he deserves it. Because he created this law. Can't think of the name of it, but it was based on Hillary's email scandal. And basically, if you use your personal account or, I guess take any high classified documents onto your person or attach to your personal account, like, that would be legal and you would go to jail. And you know what this idiot did? He took presidential U.S. government documents to his house. I hope you feel dumb. I hope you feel very, very dumb. And I hope you get arrested on the law that you created because you deserve it. And I know there's a whole lot of people that have been put on trial. There's still things that are coming out from January 6th that I can't even. I would have to do a separate episode on that. And if he doesn't go to jail for inciting that, like inciting treason, I hope he goes to jail for this. I really do.
You really think he's gonna go to jail though?
I don't care how much money you have to like get the finest lawyers. Facts are facts. And the fact that in the US government on January 6th that we were playing real life Among Us is beyond ghetto.
We're all in the gulag.
I would never wait
a minute. I just had a realization like they stormed the Capitol. Like that's a government building and they rioted.
Beating cops with the Blue Lives flag. They killed one officer.
That's so ironic. It hurts. What?
Like they killed one officer, and then I heard like one officer committed suicide from the trauma.
Oh my gosh.
And like I said,
he needs to get persecuted for that because he basically was like the rally man, inciting the rally. He had a podium and everything.
Right.
So why is no one taxing him? Like people died and people got hurt. Like it was literally people's lives were in danger because of him. He was literally promoting. This was supposed to be your president at the time.
Not even president. He was supposed to concede. All he had to do was just bow out. But he incited the riots, and like he almost had his own VP killed.
Oh.
They're about to lynch him.
Like Pence?
Yes. But I hope that Trump is held accountable for his actions, whether it's for January 6th or for these documents. But part of me really hope it's for the documents so that he could go down in history for going to jail for a law that he created.
I think there's gonna be a documentary for the January 6th incident. It's coming out next year.
I mean, sure, they have a lot of footage because all those idiots posted it on social media. Like, there's nothing wrong with what they were doing. There was like, oh, we're being part of the revolution. You're treasonous. Like, and I hope they were definitely co-conspirators because so many people have said, like, other, like, congressmen and senators were, like, having people do tours the day before. There are videos of people like looking at a map and figure out like where to go. You could like go to this room if you go to the dark side. Like what? How do they have that information? And just like
this was planned, definitely.
It was definitely planned.
And an inside man.
Like. And more people should have went to jail. I don't think anybody should have went home. I think they should have been arrested on the spot. And
yeah, they're basically, deciding they're causing a riot. Like I don't understand how they could give like so much energy for Black Lives Matter protests, but they're literally attacking your men and attacking your leaders, and you're just sitting there. You're not giving them the same, vibe, giving them the same energy you give peaceful protesters. But hey.
Let's hope that justice, if justice truly exists, Trump should go to federal prison and remain there for the rest of his life. That's what I believe is true justice. And that's what I would like to see. Will we get it? We will see. But I feel like there's too much evidence on the table for him not to get away with any charge. But on to some better news. Our girl, Brittany, She's home. She's finally home after being convicted in Russia for possession of marijuana. She was going to be serving 9 years. 9 years for a victimless crime. Now, I'm not going to lie, I had a bit of mixed feelings about this because she's a professional athlete, and I figured, like, you know, she would know better to, you know, travel with that. But at the same time, like, 9 years for, again, a victimless crime is excessive. So there was a public outcry. She was a hashtag for majority of the year. And then as soon as she comes home, people weren't happy about it. Like, they were upset about the deal that was made to get her home. They did a prisoner exchange, and the U.S. gave Russia their arms dealer, Victor Bout. I think I'm pronouncing that correctly. Forgive me if I'm not. And then people were like, yo, why didn't you get this Marine, Paul Winland? He has, okay, so just to clarify about the Marine Paul, I'm not going to try to say his last name again. He's Irish, Canadian, American, and British. These are his 4 passports. He's a former Marine who was caught spying and is currently serving 16 years in a Russian prison. And people were like, yo, where's the efforts to exchange? I have not heard of him until they saved Britney. So it must not, nobody cares. And
Yeah.
I'm like, how do you get caught spy? You must not be a very good spy if you got caught.
Exactly.
And
Like your job.
And then we don't even know where his allegiance lie because he got 4 different passports. So who is he spying for? So, I mean, I'm glad that she's home. I'm glad that she doesn't have to, you know, serve those 9 years in a Russian prison. I can't imagine, like, what that must have been like for her. How do you feel about people's reaction to this case, starting when, like, it first happened, when she was first arrested and convicted?
How do I feel about people's reaction? To be honest with you, I didn't really know about the case that much until I think it was like the beginning of July. When I found out about it, I was just like, that's a terrible situation to be in because first of all, you're a black woman, and Russia's not, necessarily kind to people of color. So I already knew like that sentence is like they were gonna like not just give her a slap on the wrist for something, a possession of weed. Like it's not even legalized over there, and on top of that, you're black, so they're gonna give you a heavy sentence.
Right. And then we're also dealing with the conflict of Russia versus Ukraine. Well, it's not even versus. It's like Russia is invaded Ukraine, and they've been fighting. So it's a lot on the line. I feel like her story, I don't think was pushed enough. There was like some traction, but as some people say, like if it was like a male NBA player,
it would get so much more traction. They are correct.
Yeah. So I feel like she didn't get as much press, but I'm glad that the U.S. was able to make this arrangement without causing like too much noise. So I'm glad that she's home with her wife, safe and sound. So kudos to you, and you continue to play the sport that you love, and we hope to see you play soon in the WNBA. Even though I don't really watch sports, but
yeah, me neither.
Alright, next story. This is a. I would say this, like, I want this story to get as much attention and have a strong movement, same as the Black Lives Matter movement, because that became a global deal. And I think with any country that is dealing with systematic oppression, that we should have their back as much as they have ours. Please have your prayers for Iran. There's this young woman who was only 22 years old. And I'm going to try my best to pronounce her name correctly. Like, even prior to this, I was trying to pronounce it. Masa.
Mini?
I'm going to just, say her first name. But this young woman who was killed by the morality police in Iran for not wearing her hijab correctly. Now, if you don't know what hijab is, in the Muslim culture, it's customary for women to cover up their hair as a form of modesty. But she was killed because, she wasn't wearing it correctly. This is a beautiful young woman whose life was taken, and the women of Iran was not having it. They have taken to the streets. They have been protesting ever since this happened. I've even seen a protest when we were in Atlanta, Georgia, as we were eating, and a swarm of people were coming down the street. So anybody, from Iran have been up in arms. But it has come at a price. Like, so far, since November 29th, around 300 people have been killed protesting this murder. And I hope that we continue to have this conversation. I just want to know let me not be one of those people, because anytime we see a major conflict, we just think the UN isn't really doing anything. But I would like to see some type of report or just an update in terms of because this is definitely a crime against humanity, what's happening in Iran. And
yeah.
I want to keep the hashtag going. I want to make sure that this young lady isn't forgotten, especially all the people that have sacrificed their life to bring this issue to the forefront. And I think our duties as Americans is that we have to really have their back. I didn't really have much commentary on this, and if I hear anything else, then I would continue to report it on my Instagram at Noir Vibes DC. But please keep Iran in your prayers and continue to bring attention to what's going on there, and hopefully this movement can be as big as Black Lives Matter. Alright, oh my god, it's we're 42 minutes in. Oh wow, okay, let's see if we can try to get to our music news. But this next topic, the next two may take up a lot of time. Will Smith.
Oh my god, yes.
Will Smith slaps Chris Rock at the Oscars.
They were there.
The slap that was heard across the world. I don't really watch award shows like I used to, but then I'm looking on my Twitter feed, and then it was just like people were asking like, "Is this real? Is this like really happening? This has to be a stunt." Like, yo, I can't. What What are your thoughts, Ziggy? Like, how did
My,
you feel about this?
my thoughts when I first saw that Will Smith smacked absolute shit out of Chris Rock on live television. I was flabbergasted. I thought it was a skit too. I thought this was like fake, like it was like for like publicity or whatever. But when I first like watched it and like I saw the background of it, like him making a joke about his wife having alopecia. It wasn't alopecia. What was it?
He made a joke like, "Can't wait to see
You
GI
and
Jane
yeah, Jamie
2."
too. Yeah, yeah. It was a joke about her being like bald. Not funny, but it was a joke about her being bald. And I don't get it. I think Will, but my whole thing about it is that I think Will was trying to, protect his wife at the end of the day. Even though it showed him giggling at the joke, then I think settled in. Like I guess he saw Jada's face or whatever. Like she didn't find it funny. So this he felt the need to go up there and smack this man for talking about his wife. Just think that some people just like a lot of people saying that comedy is like is it objective?
It's subjective.
The comedy is more subjective to everybody and everyone. Like the joke wasn't that serious. It wasn't serious enough for him to stop him. Like doing too much. Their opinion, but like if like that's his wife and like she overcame something that was obviously like like very important to her. Like at the end of the day, a black woman's hair is like her identity. You know what I'm saying?
Right. I've always been told like growing up like your hair is your glory. So
Yeah.
I mean it's one thing when you go bald by choice, like Doja. Like she admitted like she doesn't like hair. She was like over it, like she just shave it. And that's perfectly healthy just to like free yourself or something that you may consider inconvenience. But when you lose something out of that's beyond
Illness.
your control,
Yeah.
you feel so like I think like Jada still looks good.
It looks amazing. She
Like
has a great bone structure. She rocks
right,
that ball.
she's beautiful, and but I understand like what I mean, like what she was going through. I really got pissed at the reaction because a lot of people were targeting her. She got the backlash.
Yeah, a
I
lot of
think she
people
got more
were
of the
saying a
backlash than
lot of
Will
things.
did, to be honest. At least from public scrutiny. Like the Oscars, they banned him for 10 years. But the internet like went in and say like Jada made him do it. And I'm just like,
It did not make that grown man do anything. If far we saw that Will Smith on his own on his own accord went up there and smacked Chris Rock without Jada telling him to do anything. Trying to paint her to be like this like manipulative because of the little August Alsina thing that everyone feels the need to put their opinion on two people's marriages that have nothing to do with them. At the end of the day, if he forgave her and they moved on, why can't y'all? That's what most of it stemming from anyway. The hate.
right. And I feel like what Will did, even if he was defending his wife, I feel like he could have handled it like so much better. Like Bob the drag queen said it best. Like he said like it would have been better if Will took the microphone and just made Chris apologize. I mean, where like it's not funny to make fun of my wife's illness, and that would have been like a powerful moment where he would have protected his wife and not shown his ass
Not
at the Oscars.
Nobody would have been able to paint him as the bad guy, as a violent, angry black man who's gonna scare these white people away, and make them think that all black people are violent.
And it just sucked because for years, we have noticed like how white the Oscar has been. And we finally had a year where a lot of black talent was being recognized this night. But I feel like this slap, like, I know Questlove won something, but I can't remember what category. I'm pretty sure there was others that, Will got an Oscar. I mean, it was just like, it just dampened the whole occasion. People were like so freaked out, especially a lot of comedians, because there's a whole genre of comedy that's like insult. You know what I mean? Like, from Def Comedy Jam, like, if you were in the front row, you're getting picked on. Like, that's part of the culture. You know what I'm saying? So
I'm gonna take it as this. I'm gonna give an opinion that I don't know if anyone's gonna agree on this, but I'm just saying, like, I feel like we as black people, we aren't allowed to have slip ups or moments of rash thinking without it negatively affecting the entire black race. And what I mean is that, like, people saying from the smack, oh, Will's acting up in front of the white people. Will's doing this and making us look bad. They're not gonna invite us back. This is supposed to be our night. I'm just saying, like, Will, Will. I just feel like even though Will is like a great actor, he's a like one of the great actors in the black community. Like, he's a beloved, celebrity. I just feel like his actions should not represent, the entire. Like, he just happens to be black. I don't think he did that. Like, I feel like white people have had bigger scandals or like acts of violence in places, and it hasn't blown up. And we're like, disgraced the white community. No one's ever looked at it. That the community like that, it only reflected on that. They only reflect on that person, like their beliefs and their actions. You know what I'm saying?
yeah, I totally agree. What's that one? I think John Wayne, didn't he punch like a Native American woman? But like nobody really remembers that. I think he did it at the Oscars, but nobody really talks about.
I think they booed her off the stage. I don't know if he punched her.
He attacked somebody. I may have to look it up later. He like attacked somebody like on stage, but I would just say this. I hope that people will start to forgive him, because like at first, like, people were putting pauses on deals and projects, and it was affecting not only him but a lot of people around him. So I'm like, it was a lot. But the good news is that I think he completed a project, Emancipation, that we could look forward to seeing in 2023. Would you be willing to watch this project even after everything that has happened?
Wait, you said who's doing a project in 2023?
Will Smith. So I believe because he's been going around promoting it, Emancipation.
I think it's already out.
It is.
Apple TV.
Is it like streaming?
Yeah, it's on Apple TV. It already came out.
Oh, well, I mean, because I know he's been going around promoting it. So do you think that you would be watching it and still supporting Will?
I have to see. Is it another slave movie? Like,
Ooh, that's a good question.
I just find it funny how, like, pre-planned, like, he already had this role in the bag. Never mind, I think he was. Because movies take a long time to make, so they didn't just get this role on the fly. Because I was going to make a joke, like, since they smacked, he was acting out at the Oscars, they gave him a slave role. Because he don't usually play slave roles. Like, he's usually like a robot or a hero or something like that.
Yeah.
Time. I've never seen him play that type of role.
I would say, like, I would be willing to give Will Smith a chance. I think he has.
I have no problem with Will Smith. I'm not mad at Will Smith for smacking Chris Rock. I'm not happy he smacked. Like, I'm not like, yeah, smack. I think it sounds like I'm over enthusiastic that he smacked Chris Rock. I'm not like for it. Like, I'm not, but I'm not against it. Like, I'm in the middle. I could see why he did it, but I could also see like there's another way he could handle it.
Right. I think for Chris, I've heard they had a sit down or a talk. It's not 100% clear. I think I don't want to say like Chris should like immediately forgive him. That's completely his decision. because he was publicly humiliated. He was in a position where he couldn't really fight back or really do anything because he was in front of like a white audience. But I hope that these two, because like they're still considered colleagues. They came up in acting and comedy in the same circle. So I hope that that they were able to work things out or have that sit down. But like we don't know, and I don't know if we will ever know. Speaking
I just
of,
feel like if they do a sit down, it should be on the red table talk.
that'd be true, but I feel like, but who else should be there? Cause like Chris Rock's brother was Tony Rock was not having any of it. Like he was fuming. Um, but I, and that's got. I don't even know. I think he needed therapy. Tony Rock, he was on All of Us. That's where he like I really remember him from, but he also does comedy. Um, but yeah, I think it shouldn't just be like Jada, Chris, and Will. I think they need like a therapist for real, for real. Does somebody to really
Not gonna
mediate
pick
that?
sides. That's gonna look at it from
Yeah,
like
it's like you need
an
somebody.
objective point of view.
Yeah,
Yeah.
somebody neutral there, or it should be like a council of comedians because you know what I mean. Most of like the jokes are not to instill harm, but I think there needs to be a conversation in terms of like what may be okay and not okay, so that you know everybody can have a good time. But like I said before, like the insult comedy is really heavily in like black comedy culture, and I guess that could lead to a deeper conversation in terms of like where it is headed because you know so many of our black comedians will like fry somebody in the audience but never really encountered a situation where they could be attacked for it. So I hope that they could I hope they reconcile or eventually they will down the line. I just think it's kind of hard because the internet never really forgets, and there's been like so many memes. Like the amount of memes that came out like the day after, I'm like,
Literally, the shirts were already sold. Like shirts were already being made of the slap.
so it's like I think it's gonna be years, maybe even decades before like this could be really squashed because Will in either light could be viewed as you know the hero. Like I don't think besides the band and maybe losing a couple deals, I don't think it hurt him as much as it hurt Chris. So, but fingers crossed, like this could be resolved and you know people can have some decorum because the internet memory is quite long. Um, but let's get on to this topic. This is a and it makes me very sad because I've been a fan of this artist ever since College Dropout. I know this man has endured a lot in his life and his career, but that still does not justify his recent string of like a long string of actions. We're talking about Ye. Just Ye. I just put just Ye because there's been so many things that he has done this year that makes absolutely no sense. And it's heartbreaking because like I consider Ye to be one of this generation's most talented and genius um, producer, rapper, overall music like artist, just straight up artist. I don't know what is going on. Uh, you know, we are aware that he, you know, has a mental illness like bipolar. But then he recently came out and said like he may be autistic. Like some people like have like autism. I'm like, what? It's just like,
What is-
I don't know.
I just feel like people love to make excuses for Kanye. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Like, man went on a whole anti-Semitic rant, and you still have people defending Kanye and saying like excusing his actions and saying that there's a reason why he's doing this, or it's not really what you think it is. Like, it's a deeper meaning to it. It's just blatant anti-Semitism.
I, let's just go through the laundry list of like everything that he's done. Um,
Oh, we got like a minute left.
bro, like White Lives Matter shirts,
Oh my
the
God.
George
L
Floyd comments saying that he
L.
died of fentanyl and not the knee on the neck. Um, he's blatant threats against Pete Davidson for like dating his wife. I'm gonna just say dating to be nice, dating his ex-wife. It's just completely off the rails. And then one anti-Semitic rant after another, saying that he loves Hitler on Alex. It's gonna run over a little bit because like we have to get into this. He said that he loves Hitler on the Alex Jones show.
Jesus.
He says that.
This is not making any. I think people are holding on to like the Kanye, like the early 2000s Kanye. Like, they don't believe that this is like what he's become, because he was literally the polar opposite like 10 to 15 years ago.
And it's not that. But Kanye, when he had his outbursts, I mean, it's always a bit problematic.
We're gonna find a way to blame the Kardashians for this.
And I don't like that either. Again,
Me neither. Me neither.
he is a grown man that's capable of making his own decisions. I just want to like wonder like who is around him in terms of like is anybody like sitting down. I feel like he has lost like so many of his friends.
Who is his PR manager?
I think they quit. I mean, like, to be
Oh,
honest, because there's no way that you can spin him saying like I love Hitler because like I'm a Christian. Nobody's gonna tell me that, or not. Nobody's gonna tell me who to love or who I can't love. Like, how can I hate a person that created the things that he used every day? And he was referring to the microphone and highway, and I had to look it up because I was just like, ain't no way Hitler did this. And the fact that I started typing it in, but Google automatically started like filling in my question because so many other people started Googling it, which made me proud because I'm glad like people are fact checking. But I'm just like, yo, like this is a man who has like such a huge platform and he is spouting this nonsense.
yeah, it just shows like that's the stuff that you really need to be monitoring. That's the stuff that you really need to be worrying about. And this goes back to the 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 freedom of speech thing that people want to push so hard, and saying that like everyone deserves, it's America, everyone deserves the right to free speech. But sometimes that free speech comes with a cause, man. Like, it's just like some things are not, it's harmful. Like, it's better off not said than said. And people want to look at that as silencing people and going against your First Amendment right. But if you're gonna use that amendment right to harm people and make people unsafe in a place where they're supposed to be, the land of the free or whatever you want to call it, are you really, following, like, doing what your founding fathers wanted you to do or intended you to do with your, freedom of speech, since you're just this patriotic person? I honestly don't know. I just don't like get certain things like that when people want to talk about like this free speech debate. That's just it. Okay.
I mean, people have to understand, and to just really like learn their history. The Holocaust didn't just start with the camps. It
Hmm.
started with propaganda, little things in the newspaper and radio just a lot of misinformation that eventually grew into the camps. And people have to like watch because like we still have Nazis, we still have the KKK. All, those groups are still active, and it's like for me when you see a black man like promoting Hitler, like does he not know that black people were in the camps too? Like you're showing.
I don't think Kanye like views himself as a black man. Like, as like crazy as that sounds, from what he says and what he does, I don't think he sees himself as that race that he's like constantly shitting on. You know what I mean? I think
But
his money has deluded him to a place where he feels as though like, oh, I'm not that type of black. I'm different. Like he's rich or whatever.
I I think it's a little bit deeper than that. I can't really say what his motives are because like he's the living embodiment of that meme like don't let anybody guess your next move. You know what I'm talking about? Like I have so there was this post that I saw him speaking saying like nobody in history has ever, you know, lost $1 billion deal from a tweet and I feel free. So it's giving the impression that he's doing this, he did it intentionally to get out of a deal. But it's still selfish because you're still spouting all this nonsense that is harmful to the Jewish and black community. All because you want to get out of the deal, and that's just like speculation about based on a a post that I saw. But I don't know what his intentions are. I just know, or like whatever is triggering. I think that him as a father, and he prides himself as a father first, and that ooh, that scared me. He wants to protect his girls and make sure that he's involved in their lives, but like they're old enough to be aware of what he's saying, and so are their classmates. They're gonna get. I'm worried that they might be bullied or like approached with this. You know what I mean? And they're black too. Like they may be mixed, but they're like they're black. They're like I think they're around my complexion. So the fact that he is spouting this nonsense, like the fact that he doesn't connect it like how it may affect his kids in the long run.
He has a son.
He has a son too?
Yeah, he has a son. He got 3 kids.
That's what I'm saying, and they're black. I don't hear like they're mixed. They are brown. It's,
Yeah.
you know what I mean?
Like questioning about it.
Like they would be presented and seen as black for anything else, and the fact that he may not be thinking about that is insane to me. You know.
Mm.
So I hope Ye gets help. I hope that the friends that were around him before can try to like. I know he's like he said he running for president again. I'm just like, dude, stop what you doing. I just need him to let that go and just focus on healing. Cause like I think at one time he apologized, and then another time it was like he goes on Alex Jones' show and just in a mask and with no holes or nothing, just like a straight black bass, and just spouts this nonsense. So like, I hope Ye gets help. But okay, I have like another good question. Like, do you feel at this point we should just fully cancel Ye, or should whether it is somebody from the Jewish community, black community, like should somebody take the time to educate him and have a conversation with him why what he's saying is problematic?
I just feel as though, like, at this point, I think Kanye does not care about himself enough to get help. If someone is obviously struggling with mental illness and they're saying harmful things, it is not up to us to, as fans or whoever we are, beloved fans of Kanye or people who, don't even know Kanye like that, but it's not up to us to, try to find out what's wrong with Kanye. It's up to Kanye to want to get better for himself. And as you can see, like since 2016, Kanye has not gotten any better. He has in fact gotten worse. And as you can see, it's starting to really take a toll on his like career now. Now that he's losing brand deals and he went from billionaire to millionaire. So I just feel like he's a lost cause at this point until he like actually shows that he wants to get help. Because at the end of the day, Kanye's a grown man. Up to him if he wants to, change his ways, and I don't see that like happening anytime soon. So I just left Kanye alone. I left Kanye alone when he made those slavery jokes, cause like I don't feel the need to make excuses for Kanye. Like Kanye says this stuff, he spouts this rhetoric out of his mouth. I get that you have mental illnesses, but that does not fully incapacitate you.
Yeah,
So
I remember when he said that, and like several of the students were like agreeing with him, and I'm just like, it, and you can't really fault them for that because like you have this person with like a large platform, and that people really admire, and people just like just automatically agree with their heroes.
Because they think that Kanye is like, when someone makes music that you really connect to on a deeper level, like you idolize their philosophy and how they think and whatever they say, they can start spitting rhetoric that you don't even think you never even agree with in your life, but you see it from their perspective because you look up to them so much that you'll even find yourself like, man, was slavery really that bad? Like I don't think no one has that power over me. I didn't think Kanye had that power until I found out.
Well, I hope Ye could get better and hopefully, or at least just stick to making music. Like you don't have to tweet everything.
Jimmy, like some of his last songs were not that good, but that's my opinion. Sorry.
I mean, to be honest, I haven't. What's the last Ye album I listened to?
You want him to keep making music flow? Be real.
I think it was something with Ghosts with Kids. I think
he did do a song with Lil Pump.
That was his decline. But then like it was weird because after he did that song, he went to gospel. And he was like, y'all don't really want to hear gospel. You literally just made a song about fucking hoes. So I don't.
Yeah.
And then you go around and talk about the Lord.
Man, his Jesus era. These are his Hitler era. Sorry. Nazi era.
I mean, I still listen to the old stuff. I think it was like up to not late registration. It was further up than that. I think was it graduation? No.
I just feel like it's the same. Like Kanye is known for the same album. Like the same two albums, y'all. I get that they're great albums. They're 7 in time. Every time I say something about Kanye, I'm gonna always bring up them 2 albums. Like you made graduation. What's your vote? Okay.
I just hope he goes back to making music and just focusing on music because that's where his strength is. I don't.
So he can still like he still has that ideology, but if he still makes some music, it's just cool.
That's a good question. I mean, because it's like he ain't like physically harm or touch anybody. You know what I'm saying?
Hey,
It's just like,
get my.
yeah, I'm just, I have to like wait. Like I feel like that's a good question. I would have to. It depends. Like I won't delete him completely off this stuff on my playlist. It's the early stuff anyway. Off my playlist. I just think that hopefully that things would get better for him. I think with losing, I don't want to make any excuses for him because, like I said, like there is none. I just hope that he realizes how powerful his voice is and how it harms um his fans that was ride or die for him from the jump. Um and that he makes like a formal apology, but like I think like it's just a lot going on. I just hope things could get better for him. That's what I really wish for him. I wish that he can still keep his family and that he always thinks of his family first, as opposed to.
You gotta think about it. Like everything that Kanye kind of going through right now, he kind of brought it like on himself. Like I'm saying, like him not being able to see his kids, him getting a divorce, like it's all due to his declining mental health and his failure to like address it and take care of it.
Is that it's a sad situation, but like I said, I hope that he gets better and just stick to making music. That's all we ask. We just want have a good time. It could be gospel, it could be whatever he wants, but I just want for him to get better. Now on to an artist that I gotta tell you, this artist has a talent of just doesn't have to do any promo work, can no announcement, nothing, could just drop an album and it becomes an instant classic.
Oh my god, I know what you're talking about.
I'm talking about Beyonce.
No, I love her.
Like, I know, like, some people feel like that she's maybe overplayed or some of this dumb Illuminati nonsense, but Beyonce is just
Talented. God given
iconic.
talent.
Like, iconic. It's no question at this point. Like,
Just like y'all complain about how the girls are not getting, accolades for doing nothing. But Beyonce is doing the work. She puts in the work. She gives the attitude. She sings live for Christ's sake. She busts down moves and she gets the awards. And somehow y'all have to link her to a underground Hollywood cult.
it's giving none of that. It's just that she's talented.
Hard working.
And giving. Like, she puts people on. This Renaissance album, everybody at work was talking about it. Like, it's just good. Like, she brought out, I would say this, Drake dropped his album before Renaissance and he was doing house. But to be fair, it wasn't giving what Beyonce was serving.
No one wants to hear house music from Drake anyway. Like they feel like it's like I'm trying to hop on a trend. It's not genuine.
I'm like, no, like this was giving house. Like
House down boots, mama.
From 90s. Like this was 90s house. And I'm looking at this because I have like this habit of not listening to like always like the latest. Like I would go back and just be vintage and like go to the 90s mix, and this album took me here, like took me to the 90s, like because I'm gonna be honest, like I don't listen to traditional R&B, because it's like so slow. Like I need something that's a little bit more upbeat, a higher tempo, just to help me keep me up and stay focused. This Beyonce put her foot on this album. It was a tribute to her uncle who's gay, but I think her uncle was a designer. Uh, Correct me if I'm wrong. But I know there was like a tribute to her uncle. This was every gay person has the whole album on replay. This was just a work of art. What was your favorite track off the album?
My favorite track that I listen to, I'm gonna say it's an underrated track, but I'm gonna say All Up in Your Mind. I love All Up in Your Mind. I like how like Beyonce doesn't like. I like how she can sound different on a different like. She can try something different with her voice and still carry. And what I mean by that, she did that on that track. Like I've never heard Beyonce sing like this hyper on a hyper pop type beat, and she did that with this album. She experimented a lot with like different like genres of music, and I like that for her. Like everyone was so used to Beyonce being like the pop girl, the R&B diva type, like early 2000s. She was doing a lot of R&B, love ballads, stuff like that. Strong vocals, very, traditional stuff like that. But to see her branch out and try like, rapping and trying different like vocal styles and tones with her instead of her just being like this beautiful singer. I just really just really like that track and that tone that she gave on that track. And I also like what was the I don't want to sound like I don't want to sound like I don't know what I'm talking about, but it's because I listened to this song. I have it on my thing. I like Church Girl. A lot of people don't like that song. Pastors don't like that song, but I like that song.
I did too. Like those were like one of my favorites as well. I also like Heated because this was more ballroom. Like this, I feel like that track was heavily influenced by ballroom, and like most of the tracks on there is Vogue. Like something like somebody can Vogue to. But I think Heated itself was more ballroom culture out of like the entire album. What was another track? I think it's called America Has a Problem.
I was just about to say that when you were done. I love that track too.
That track is just like as soon as like here it comes on, it's just
like you feel it.
Like you just like that will get you like that has to be on your workout track. And it's just like immediately grabs your attention. It's just like you could tell that she had fun on this album. Like she was serving it for the girls and the gays. Like, well, I mean that's pretty much all her albums.
It was just like a love letter to the. I just feel like it was a love letter to like the Black and queer community. If I'm being honest, like the album, so good. It was so good, and I've never like the get. I don't say the gays, but Beyonce's a very big icon in the queer community. So it's nice to see her give a album like dedicate a whole album to that community that loves her so much. Like that she's contributing and she's participating and she's paying attention. And she's also giving, certain artists who are in that community and in that genre of music that she's shining a light on them too. So I just feel like this is like, I just feel like she's giving back. Because this was just amazing. But also, Beyonce, where are the visuals? You're not slick, girl. We've been waiting for the visuals. They not out yet.
Oh my god. What would that even look like?
Like there's a trailer. Like she released a visual for I think that I'm That Girl. That was it.
I mean, she has a habit of over recent years, like not just doing like a musical video anymore. Like she does like a whole visual album, and I'm not gonna rush it. I'm gonna just wait but I feel like everybody's like sitting on edge. Now this album, although it was outstanding, but it didn't come without some controversy.
Hmm.
Uh, a lot of people were like bashing it a little bit, especially pastors for like the church girl track, saying that she sold her soul to the devil. But I'm just like, I mean,
Oh no, girl.
it's a song. It's okay.
Song.
Do they
Song.
really expect her to just be um do a gospel album at this point? Like, have you not heard her music
As of lately,
in general? So I thought that comment was very weird. Um, she had to do some editing on the track. Like this, I've never seen an album get so many revisions after its release. And like Khalees didn't approve a sample. So I can't remember what song was on, but she had to like redo
it
that
was
track.
um. Oh, let me look up the song.
And then
This is a milkshake sample, right?
I think so. Cause I didn't get a chance to hear it. I started listening to the album like after that whole incident happened. Or maybe like before. I just can't remember what track it was. But Khalees was like, no, she didn't get a phone call. It was nothing. Because like I think she still has like some conflict with Pharrell. And she got
It was
no.
called Energy.
Well, Khalees put out a lot of energy on that Instagram post and was like, I didn't.
Well, she ended up removing the sample, so.
Yeah. And then uh those across the pond in the UK was not okay with the use of spaz, which is considered a slur against
Disabled people.
yeah, over there. But in the US, spaz is mostly used like people just being upset and going off. So she had to remove that off of the song.
I just feel like they're being too hard on Beyonce. Because, like, they know what she, like, her, the way the context word and words are used. Like, people, especially in UK, like, don't y'all call cigarettes the F slur? Come on now. Like, y'all
That
want to
part.
talk about, being PC. Like, we knew how she was not using it towards anyone in a disrespectful way. She was
Right.
using it like different words have different connotation. But that's a different argument. So I'm
I mean
glad she
that.
moved it. She didn't make a fuss. I guess it wasn't that big of a deal to her.
Yeah, she just wants everybody to have a good time. I appreciate that
Yeah.
of her. I mean, Lizzo had to do the same thing, and it was just weird because it was just multiple things with this album, despite being so good. And then this is kind of funny. Monica Lewinsky, I think she said that she wanted a statement. It wasn't even from this album. I think it was like from
It
Partition.
was from Beyonce 2013, her self-titled album, and what's it called? Partition.
It Partition like
Yeah.
Monica Lewinsky all over my blouse.
Yeah, that's Partition. I love that song. I
I
also
hope
love
she
that album.
like I don't. It, I think it's too late. Just let it go.
Somebody mentioned Monica Lewinsky before in a rap. Like in that type of sub like context. I can't remember if it was like Lil Wayne or somebody.
I'm pretty sure.
But
Yeah, it was. No, I'm sorry. It was Nicki Minaj. I forgot the line, but I know it's like.
where's Scott? She probably said it like that. I'm sorry.
But I'm just like, I mean, you would be, unfortunately for Monica Lewinsky, she would be forever, in the pop culture lexicon. So I'm sorry that she has to, go through that. But I don't think Beyonce would be removing that reference from her song, especially something for something like so long ago. But Lord, but again, Beyonce outstanding album, and we'll just be waiting for the visuals. Um, Another like great artist like came out with an album this year, Kendrick Lamar, Mr. Morals and the Big Steppers. Um, I really enjoy Kendrick. Like I don't really listen to rap like I used to,
Yeah,
but
me neither.
it's something about him that just is really intriguing. I hadn't listened to like the album again recently, but like I feel like with this album, to me, if Baby Boy becomes a musical, I feel like majority of it would be from this album. The songs would be from this album. If that makes sense. Especially like We Cry Together. That was definitely a Baby Boy moment. I mean, what was your? Did you get a chance to listen to Kendrick's album?
Unfortunately, I have not, so I am so
I
sorry.
mean, if you have the opportunity, it's a really good listen. Kendrick has a way of fusing like almost 70s soul music, and like there's some like albums that like really make you listen. He does address things like mental health, toxic relationships. Um he's just really, I mean, he's just overall talented with his lyricism. I think the
Mhm.
combination of him and Baby King is just a really, they have really good chemistry. Like you hear
Yeah, I
other,
heard that song. I heard that song. I really like that one, the one they did together.
it's just he's just all around, like all around talented, and some of the visuals that and videos that he has put out, he's
Did
even
you listen
showing.
to? Sorry, did you listen to Pimp a Butterfly?
Did I listen to that? I listened to some of that. I haven't, like, I didn't really catch on or pay attention to Kendrick until Damn, and
Okay.
what really gravitated me towards him is when he did the Black Panther soundtrack. Like I don't even
Yeah.
know if he can even call it a Black Panther soundtrack. This is like an album for him, and
Basically, the album.
like he is just. I think with him, he's definitely saving the more lyrical side of hip hop. Because now is like I don't want to be one of those people like I take you back to the days like old hip hop. I think with him specifically, like with hip hop, it's something that makes you think. It's something that gives you like a message. Like we don't have to have a party track all the time. It's like sometimes he has a way of fusing hype and party sound, but also like things that will make you think. And I really appreciate him for that. So if you have a chance to listen to this album, I also feel like we do have like hardcore like Kendrick fans, but I don't feel like this particular album got as much noise as it should. Personally, I didn't feel like it was like trending. Besides like that video where he's like morphing, he's like using deep fakes, morphing faces. But I think if you haven't had a chance to hear it, you should definitely listen to it. Um, Another album, I think like not just the album, but I think an overall person that has received a lot of press, good and bad, because like she's been through so much. Um, Meg Thee Stallion with Traumazine. Uh, Megan Thee Stallion, I feel like had like a really roller coaster couple of years, and she's currently going through a trial with her alleged. I'm gonna say alleged, but I mean if you know, you know. With
Yeah.
the her alleged shooter Tory Lanez, I feel for this young lady because like she went through this, you know, assault. She was dealing with issues with her label,
Yeah.
um, losing her mom. Like she doesn't really have family, and then she really just bared her soul into this album. Like majority of the tracks, she is like going after like every hater, every person that has double crossed her, everyone that has like betrayed her. Like she showed no mercy, but at the same time being transparent with what she has been going through mentally. And I do appreciate her as an artist being so vulnerable because like they were giving her hell on social media and online.
They
And
still are. Like, I just saw something recently about this situation. They don't believe her, and they're saying that the doctor shown that it was glass in her. They said the doctor said it was glass fragments in her foot, and they don't believe her. They think that she's lying.
like she went as far as like showing the wound online, like her medical records, just to get some of the haters off the back, and it's still nothing. And I feel so bad for her because like she's a really talented rapper. Like some people may like chastise her for just mostly being sexual, but like if you hear like her style, her flow, she's top tier. You know what I'm saying? If you hear like her,
I don't care what people say about her flow or whatever. Like it's repetitive. She's a great lyricist.
just the overall talented individual. Like she recently guest starred on She Hulk. She's what else? I think she started filming for Stranger Things. Like
She
it's
hosted SNL.
host like you know what I mean? Host it and perform. You know, there's only a handful of people that have done that over the years. And speaking of her SNL performance, like her performance of I think it was the track Anxiety, and just to see her get emotional just performing that, it's like y'all have no sympathy or empathy for like this young woman. Like keep in mind, like she's only what 26.
She's 27.
She's 27. Like she recently uh got her degree from college. Like
Yeah.
she was like doing all of this while still working for her college degree, touring, running. Like it's like every time that she has something positive going on, then it's like out of nowhere, it's you know she gets hit with these blows, and I don't think it's fair. You know what I mean? For like a young lady to really go through that, especially if she doesn't have she addresses that in her album, like how she doesn't really have a strong support system, and that you know she really regretted being around some of these people, and to have that level of honesty publicly, and I think it's something that you know a lot of young people really need to hear. You know, and then she's even gone as far as put out a website. Let me make sure I say this correctly because I really do appreciate her for addressing mental health. And anybody that requires mental health services, you can go to her website, badbitcheshavebaddays2.com. Um, please use this resource because I think her goal is she understands what it's like to have your I mean especially in the music industry and all the trauma that she experienced, like the importance of addressing um your mental health and taking care of yourself. And to really you know, and with her platform that's gonna go so far. So I hope that many people use this resource and get the help that they need. What is your take with Megan Thee Stallion? And I mean, did you get a chance to listen to her album?
I listened to the track Anxiety and a few others, but I have not listened to the full album.
So, what was your take on the track Anxiety?
From what I heard, I just felt as though I thought Megan was being so like raw with her emotions, and I really resonated with her because when you do all these things and you're out in the world and people are judging you and saying all these lies about you that you know aren't true, but people are gonna believe like entertain the lies more because it's more entertaining. That takes a toll on you because you know who you are as a person. And multiple people are saying these things about you and saying these to your face and saying that you're a liar and saying that what you went through wasn't real. Like that's gonna take some effect to you because you went through that traumatic experience. So for that to be invalidated, is not going to to go well with your mental health. It's not gonna take a good toll on your mental health.
Exactly. It's the gaslighting for me.
Yeah, exactly. And I really applaud Megan for taking it to her music because that's what she does her the best. When I applaud her for being so open and real about how she's feeling and not just being like, oh, I'm a bad bitch, I don't give a fuck what none of these bitches say about me at the end of the day. Like she's showing that what these people are saying are hurting her, that she's human. And like I like that side of Megan Thee Stallion because you know that she always presents herself as this like she's like overly confident, nothing really shakes her. She's sturdy, she's this. It's glad to see like she has this vulnerable side, like your words can't hurt her, and that she is a human at the end of the day. And I really applaud her because I know it's hard to show that side of you, to be that vulnerable. But when you're not really like known for like being that type of person, when you're known for being like something else.
Right. So I hope that Megan Megan continues to get her blessings. Of course, she's starting her acting career, and I hope she continues to make great music. And last but not least, this
Oh my God.
last artist that we are going
Oh
to
my
get into
God.
before we close out the show is an artist that we've been waiting to return to music after I think a 6 year hiatus. Well, to be fair, she's been busy with her lingerie line and makeup line, Savage Fenty. Uh, Rihanna is making a comeback. Rihanna returns. She's back. We had a huge surprise when Wakanda Forever came out, and she's on the soundtrack, Lift Me Up. And I don't think there's a dry eye in the house. On top of that, she will be performing at this upcoming Super Bowl. I mean, this is huge. You know how often
Yes.
people have cried on social media. When's the next album? When is the next project? She recently had a baby and was married to ASAP Rocky. She started her family. Is she billionaire status yet?
I think she is.
Because I subscribe to Savage Fenty. She makes comfortable underwear. I'm just waiting for her to come out with a bikini line, like swimwear, because she has great design.
Yes,
And
Rihanna is a billionaire.
see, just over
Yeah, Rihanna, billionaire. Yeah.
she's just an ultimate boss. I mean, great. I haven't tried her makeup because her makeup is expensive. I think the foundation is $47.
It was 36.
That's still quite high. That's a bit
It is,
high.
but I never bought a Fenty product, but I know when it came out, all the girlies was buying it. All the girlies were, especially say I remember Saquon was one of the first people to get I seen with the Fenty, and they were using it almost every day.
Yeah, I can't. The underwear is great. It's very comfortable. I have
Yeah,
the robe.
I have a couple of pair, and I have two bras.
I mean, she's just fashion, just
She,
and
she is a
inclusive,
icon.
and very inclusive too. Have models from every size, every ethnicity, whether physically able or disabled. Just thinking of everybody to be represented on her line. And I'm super excited for the Super Bowl show because if you have seen the Savage Fenty volumes like 1 through 4, I think we're at 4. They're on Amazon Prime. If you haven't had the opportunity to check it out, the
Please
shows
do.
it's spectacular. Like I don't even be looking at the underwear. Like I'm just like the guest appearances, the set, the choreography. It
Girl.
delivers every time. This show is about to be a beast. This is the best way that she can make her comeback. I'm just ecstatic to just see her, and I'm glad that she's returned to music because like her fans have been asking for it. Um, what did you listen to the track? Lift Me Up.
I listened to Lift Me Up when she dropped it Friday. But and I thought it was good. It was a nice little ballad she did. I liked it. It was very inspirational. I felt, uplifted. So but I was waiting I've been waiting for Rihanna to drop music since she released Auntie. Cause Auntie was so good. Have you ever listened to the album?
It's been a while, but like everything that she drops is like bop 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 bop.
Yeah.
She delivers. Like
She does every time, and she just has this like Rihanna's like attitude. She's able to sell it like every time she gives, whether it's like her makeup line, her clothing line, her music. She's just like you said at the beginning. She's a boss, like she's a powerhouse. She's gonna give it to you every time. That's why so many people just love Rihanna, and especially when you have like you were talking about the Savage X Fenty shows earlier. I've been a fan of her shows since 2020 when I saw the Savage X Fenty show Volume 2, and I had saw them dancing to Frank Ocean, and it was Frank Ocean's Self Control, and the music, the body movements, the body language just in the set was just so beautiful. It captured the song so perfectly, and she does that with every song she does. I don't know how she does it. The choreographer, shout out to Paris. I think her name is Paris Gobel or Gobel or something. If I'm pronouncing it wrong, I'm so sorry, girl. But she has a good taste for like everything she does, and I feel like everything she's so creative, and everything she touches is just magical.
yeah, I mean it's just overall talent, just like the creativity and the level of imagination that she has is beyond measurable. I like I said before, like the Super Bowl show is about to be one of the best in history. I can't wait to see it. I'm gonna just go ahead and end it on that note because we've like spent almost like 2 hours going over this, but next week we're doing part 2. There may be even a part 3 the following week because we have a lot to discuss in terms of K-pop and the TV shows, or what I believe are like the best TV shows of 2022. Please
Yeah,
stay
this year
tuned.
has been. Oh, I'm so sorry.
Oh no, we have like a lot. There were a lot of good shows. Like Marvel has been pumping out some amazing content. I know some people may disagree, but
Mm.
there have been some really good shows streaming and on cable, and we're gonna dive all into that next week. I know I said like I wanted to do tomorrow, but with the current schedule at work, I will not be able to do that. So I want to make sure that I have enough time to get this show right. So for my audience, so be tune in next week. It's gonna be on Tuesday for part 2 of review of 2022 as we dive into the K-pop explosion
Oh my
and the
goodness.
best, what we believe are the best TV shows of 2022. Please make sure
Go to
that
the
you.
movies.
Movies might be part 3
Okay.
because like I have a lot to say about like some of the movies that I watched, and this alone like was like 2 hours, and we just covered like 2 major topics.
Okay.
But
Yeah.
it was a good conversation. Thank you, Ziggy, for being online with me.
No problem. Thank you for having me.
As always. And y'all, please make sure that if you don't follow, you need to follow. Make sure that you share Noir Vibes DC on Twitch to your friends and family. Make sure that you follow. And it's the same on Instagram, Twitter, and Facebook. So make sure you give me those likes, those follows. I appreciate you all for tuning in. If you missed the Twitch live, that is okay because I will be editing this. So it'll be on YouTube channel. It's coming soon. The podcast is audio is still active. I'm still on Spotify, Amazon Music, Apple, and now on iHeart. So please make sure that you support. I am sponsored, so those listens really do help build the franchise. The goal is to have my publication big enough so that I can hire teams right out of college. Like, oh, what happened? I got a follow! Yay! Right towards the end, but I do appreciate you guys so much for following me. And spread the word. And I want you guys to participate in the conversation and be more active in the chat. I want to hear your thoughts. And then also pay attention to the hashtag that's coming out. Trends that need to stay in 2022. I have a few listed, but I also want to hear from you guys. What do you think that just this needs to die out with this year? Okay? So, again, I appreciate you guys so much. This has been Miss Flo, and remember, you can't go wrong when you go with the flow. I'll catch you guys next time.